damage, injury, harm. Seattle, Washington. All things that are very dangerous and things that we definitely want to avoid. They say sometimes life is gonna knock you down, but what if it didn't? Well, today we are going to try our best to not let life knock us down and instead pick up a golf club and beat life into a coma for even daring to try. But before we begin, I can't help but notice that Abby seems to have copied her look from a certain someone. Oh, I wonder where you came up with this outfit, Abby. Who wore it better? Vote now.
This whole thing, all of this, it's all about me.
So if it wasn't obvious by now, I'm going to beat The Last of Us Part 2 without taking any damage. Or I'm gonna try anyway. So let's go over the ground rules I followed during this run. Obviously, I am not allowed to get hurt. If I do get injured, I will add a point to the fail counter. I will also be playing the game on Survivor mode, mostly because that's my comfort difficulty, but also because Survivor mode lets you keep the health bar on screen, unlike Grounded. And I want you guys to know for a fact that I am playing fair. I would never cheat.
Cheating.
Outside of that, anything goes, as long as it's not my health bar. Please, game. Please don't take my health bar. So our journey begins where all great stories start, in the bathroom.
Could be worse.
But after we're done freshening up for the day, Ellie puts on her invisible jacket and then casually threatened to dox me.
I know where you live, Alex.
Excuse me? Look, Ellie, I know I may be hard on your game, but there is no reason to threaten me. Meanwhile, Abby was off frolicking in the woods and making me fail my challenge immediately. Why do you have to be like this, Abby? Why do you have to do this to me? Fortunately, I am able to get through the rest of the Jackson section without taking any damage. As Abby, at least. However, Ellie is a different story.
You'll probably die from hypothermia from wearing canvas sneakers in the snow. I am wearing boots today.
Liar!
After sneaking through the supermarket fight, a runner decided to jump on Ellie's face because apparently Dean and I are trespassing on private property. And taking away my health is clearly the best way to handle that situation. I think I would like to speak to your manager, sir. But fortunately, I get a health kit immediately after this. So I'm all healed up and now nothing else could possibly go wrong.
Elliot!
Don't fucking shush me, bitch.
Since Ellie can't tell me what to do, I decide to blast my way through the rest of the supermarket because stealth is for suckers. Is that a stupid move in a challenge where I am not allowed to get hurt? Maybe, but gosh darn it, I can't help myself. And then Dina and Ellie gallivanted off into the wilderness and just so happened, just by happenstance, I can't believe this is happening, came across some drugs. Dun dun dun!
The only cool thing here is to say no to drugs.
And because Joel raised a bad egg, he was forced to suffer for his poor parenting skills. So, with Joel's brain guts freshly staining the ground, we embarked on our epic quest, where we were walking, and 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 walking, forever! But then we finally made it to the dome building, where I dodged, and I weaved, and I just sprinted past everyone because I couldn't be bothered. I then stealth killed the enemies at the courthouse, and blew up all the zombies in the garage. Easy peasy. And now that Dean and I are finished conversing with the common street folk that wander about the strange city, we headed off to the hotel, where I shot everyone in the face. For fun, you see. Since I have a bad habit of always getting horribly injured, distance is key in surviving this challenge. Unfortunately, unlike the infected, the WLF soldiers do not respect people's personal space. Fortunately, Ellie does not take any damage from exploding into the air, and neither does Dina, who surely would have had a miscarriage if this game was realistic in any kind of way. Sadly, the same could not be said for Baseball Hat Guy. Sorry man, people are only immune to explosions in this universe, not neck stabs. So I decided to sneak through the school. Yeah, okay, no. I don't know what I was doing during this run. You would think I would be more careful since I could easily get hurt on Survivor mode, but I was just throwing caution to the wind over here. I'm a maniac! A maniac, I tell you! So after successfully surviving yet another day in the American education system, Dee and I proceeded to walk.
I'm going to talk to you this evening about how you engage an audience.
So I snuck through the town section with little to no issues, and in case you were curious how I maneuvered this section, let me just break it down for you. So I start here, then I go there, then I run all around here, then I creep through there, then I go back here, then I go out there, then I go out there, and then I do this, and then I do that, and then I go there, and then I explode! But in a safe way where no one gets hurt.
I'll keep you safe! I'll keep everyone safe!
So after lots of talking...
Is Leah chick? What if she's gone by the time we get there? I don't want to think about that right now. We should put some of those tripwires up around Jackson. Might be a good way to deal with the hordes. signs warning them.
What if they can't read?
We'll make drawings. You know, like a foot tripping over a wire.
I met this guy once, from the Joels. Tripwired a whole town.
Could you keep it down? I'm trying to be boring.
We made to the TV station, where I planted a bunch of bombs around the front door in case any hooligans got the smart idea to try and stop me from living my most authentic, boring life. That's what you get! That's what you get! So here's where we come into a bit of a problem. Whenever I try and make a run for it out of the TV station, I always get shot. Every time, without fail.
Everybody moves fucking slow!
I'm not sure if this is just a me thing, if the game just hates me, or if I'm just the worst gamer ever to exist, because I vaguely remember a time when I didn't get shot running out of here, and now I feel like getting shot on my way out is just something I've come to expect in this area. But I found that as long as I shoot the enemies from the terrace and make a beeline for the door, I was able to avoid getting shot. I think on average, I'm just kind of unlucky in this area. You can get out of the first sewer fight without too many issues, if you know how to sneak by the enemies, or in my case, run away from them screaming hysterically. The other fights are where I get a little nervous, however, since this is the part of the challenge where the Shamblers and their challenge-killing skunk spray is introduced. I basically had to handle the first area fast and furiously. I just threw everything at those guys and tried my best to avoid their spray while dodging enemies. It did take a couple of tries because I kept getting acid burns by accident. I made it through the second fight on my first try, however, but that was mostly because I tried to be a little more sneaky during this go. But not by that much. So because Ellie thinks she's Alice in Wonderland, she decided to jump face first down the rabbit hole. But instead of meeting the Mad Hatter, she met the Mad Hater. Fortunately, I did not take any damage from the horde of Abby fans tackling me. However, due to the fact that Ellie refuses to run in this game, I became a bit concerned that I was going to lose my health from random butt slaps by these gropey weirdos. Fortunately, Ellie runs just barely fast enough that she makes it through. But thanks a lot for giving me a panic attack, Ellie. I appreciate that. I also had to restart the encounter like a million times because I kept getting hit. Very annoying. So after that, Ellie has a little flashback where we get to remember the good old times. So with that out of the way, let's hop into it.
Geronimo!
The first WLF fight wasn't too bad. I just placed a couple of bombs down and then lured the dumb idiots into my area. Afterwards, I just ran through the infected fight, and even though I thought for sure I was gonna lose my health during the fight with Boris, the friendly neighborhood cannibal, I came out of it with 0 damage. Yippee. Then I blew up every single WLF soldier in fight like I'm filling in for Bon Voyage.
Mais c'est incroyable!
And Ellie and Jesse hopped in the car for a leisurely drive.
To the tar pits.
Let's go!
Now, you can get hurt during the car chase section, but you can also avoid it. It's kind of a 50-50 shot depending on your aim. But since my health bar doesn't show up on screen during this section, I'm not going to count it regardless. However, you can also prevent being shot by placing trap mines before the chase starts. And now it's time for more flashbacks. This time with violence. The hotel fight was easy enough so long as you can stealth kill all the infected. If you can do that, then the second wave never shows up and you can move on without all the hoopla of a fight, saving my time and my sanity. The bloater fight was a bit tricky since you do have to let Ellie get grabbed by the big beefy boy, but this action does not cause Ellie any damage. It's just making sure that you don't get hurt during the actual fight itself that's the main problem of concern. But fortunately, I was fine. Meanwhile, back in the present, Ellie is being a major buzzkill since she's all sad about Joel, so to distract herself from that constant pain, we head out looking for Nora.
Take that, depression!
But first, Ellie has to take out her anger issues on a bunch of infected. So I just ran through the area and shotgunned any infected that got too close. I also used trap mines, but I did my best to stay far away from them because I could and did easily get hurt from them. But now that I'm done with that, I can finally get back to Nora. Yeah, so when the Sarah suckers shoot me with an arrow, Ellie takes a bit of damage.
Oh, look at that. I've been impaled.
So I responded very maturely. And even though I was pretty sure I was gonna get got during the second Scar fight, I somehow managed to elude their detection and was able to sneak around them. Meanwhile, one strategically placed trap mine will allow the big Scar dude to get hit and not hurt me in the slightest, so I could take him and his little buddies out with ease. So I continued on.
Better still be there, Nora.
Don't worry, Ellie, she is. And luckily for you, Ellie, she does not come without a fight. Fortunately for you, Ellie, I was able to make it through all of these morons like a pro. Half of them were dead before they even knew they were under attack. Way to go, me. So after all of that, Ellie goes to confront, I guess Nora's ghost? So I smoke bombed the guys in the basement and immediately made my break for it. I'm honestly pretty surprised I didn't get hurt here. And finally, I found the real Nora. And I was pretty upset after she used her weird Force Ghost powers on me.
This is the first time in my life that I've been provoked to hit a woman.
So after Ellie was done beating the crap out of Nora, we're off to day 3.
Screw it. Let's Let's get Tommy.
Yeah! Wait, did you say Tommy? No. We're going for Abby. And then I show Jesse what I would like to do when I find Abby. Let's get one thing straight here, Jesse. We're not going after Tommy. And then I speed stealth my way to the second encounter because I do not have time to be screwing around with you fools. I've got places to be. Like the mall. So after Jesse gets all self-righteous on me and decides to abandon me at the mall like a neglectful parent, I did what any responsible child would do and reached out to the nearest adult. However, none of them seemed very interested in helping me. So now that I've successfully stolen a boat, I glided past the last round of scars for the day, and now I have reached the bloater, who I annihilated in a matter of seconds. Not today, bloater. Not today. And now that that nonsense is over, Ellie sails off into the great blue yonder. Ellie swims off into the great blue yonder.
Just keep swimming, swimming, swimming.
Sadly, I am forced to take more damage when I tumble through the air vents and get tackled by Alice. Sure, an explosion right under my feet didn't hurt me at all, but a small fall from the air vents and a slightly aggressive hug from Alice? Clearly I'm not walking away from that one. And now we have reached the Abby section of the game.
What?
Hey, look what I found.
Wow, it's the money I wasted on this game. Thanks for dangling in front of my face, Abby. It's always a good reminder. So after Abby is done thinking about her super tragic backstory, the gang and I head off to go try and destroy my challenge once again. During the car chase section, you can very easily get hurt if you're not careful. But just like the car chase fight with Ellie, so long as you shoot the enemies fast enough, you won't get hit. It really comes down to skill and luck. But also like the Ellie car chase, my HUD does not appear on screen, meaning I cannot see my health bar, and so I'm going to choose not to count it.
Another happy landing.
After I snuck through the first section of the Home Depot fight, I instantly got grabbed when I entered the second area and had to restart the encounter. But on my second attempt, I did much better. No thanks to anyone else. Looking at you, Manny. And after American Ninja Warrioring my way through the boat warehouse, we got to the train yard. And since I always sneak my way through the train yard fight, I decided to take a more tactical approach, which failed horribly. But on my second go, it went much better. And now we're at the gas station. I was a bit worried in this area since you can very easily get sniper shot by a scar if you're not careful. Despite using Mel's pregnant body and Alice's fluffy body as my shield, I could still easily get attacked. So I chose to handle this situation the way I handle all of my problems. Explode the enemies into dust before they even have a chance to process what's happening. So I headed to the WLF base where everyone is really invested in reading this book. Looks good. I wonder if it's available on Amazon. It's on Amazon. Buy my book. It's a product placement. And a very subtle one at that. So Abby has a little flashback.
Suicide is badass.
Meanwhile, back in the present. So because Abby is a pacifist from way back when, I decided to have her sneak through the first scar fight, and she looked damn good doing it. And then I John Wicked my way through the second scar fight, and I was feeling pretty good about myself. The self-esteem was high. So Abby instantly gets kidnapped, and the embarrassment that brings to Abby sends her flying straight into another flashback, where we can see Owen display his total lack of knowledge on fire safety. The fight in the woods was stupid. I had to dodge and weave around the stalkers, but they kept slapping me from behind, making it really annoying. Not to mention, anytime I got hit and I restarted the encounter, I had to start all over again. It was really annoying. But once again, my health bar does not show up on screen when I'm in this area, so basically I'm not going to count it. But I didn't get hit anyway, so it's whatever. Same deal for the fight against the big lady. The fight in the restaurant wasn't too bad. I just mounted in place and took out the infected as they waddled their way into my line of fire. I did mess up right at the end of the fight and had to restart the entire encounter, but it was no big deal. And after Lev finally decided to let me out, couldn't have possibly gone any slower, mind you, Abby promptly dumped the injured children inside some busted up old van because, as Lev put it, I was a lame old adult and they were hip young kids, so I wasn't allowed to hang out with them.
Sorry, I just don't want anyone to think we're friends with you.
So Abby dodged and weaved around some stalkers and then promptly fell off a cliff, which somehow didn't cause any damage, even though falling from that height into water would probably feel like hitting a pile of concrete. But hey, if a freaking explosion isn't gonna cause you any damage, why would this? The boat fight was a breeze. I swept the floor with these guys and managed to keep a safe distance at all times. Safety is very important to Abby. And sadly, we have now finally reached the aquarium.
Ew! What the fuck?
This scene was so gross, in fact, that it spawned Abby right out of her cool outfit and put her right back into her garbage tank top. Okay, enough of that. Now we're off to save the ungrateful urchin children, which was very, very easy. I just shot each enemy, they walked over, and then I shot them again. These guys are real smart, I tell you what.
Howdy do, fellow kids.
So since Yara's arm is redder than Rudolph's nose, we had to hack that thing off because it will not be guiding our sleigh tonight. So the adventure begins. To get through the infected fight, since I was not risking getting hurt sprinting my way through, I decided to sit in the corner like a little baby, sucking my thumb as I exploded every enemy that came my way. The first scar fight went fine, but I did almost get hit by a guy who snuck up behind me. Whew, that was close. I went into the roof fight ready for battle, and I did great. Okay, I did average. But I eventually was able to get through the area without taking any damage or alerting literally everyone in the area to my position. Wow. After that, I went across the sky bridge, but Lev's constant positive reinforcement was far too much for Abby, who isn't used to being complimented due to the fact that she is a horrible demon monster, and therefore caused her to plummet off the building.
Use the stairs, it's safer.
I had Abby huddle herself in the corner of the room to take out the stalkers. Just like the baby she is, Abby's natural response to danger is to sit in the corner and cry. Well, I mean, at least that was the option that didn't get me hurt. Getting down the rest of the building was easy enough, I just stealthed it. And we have made it to the hospital, so maybe now Lev can finally stop whining all the time. Look, it's not my fault she got her arm broken. Sounds more like a skill issue to me. So after Abby is arrested for the crime of hurting a child's feelings, Nora lets me out because she too likes to mock the young. So I just sprinted past the clicker fight in the basement, and now we have reached the Rat King. Which was super easy since I have to avoid getting hit by that guy all the time anyway, so why would now be any different? I just shot that dude till he died and then shot him some more. Same deal for the mini Rat King, though he is a bit more of a challenge since he likes to throw those acid spores. So I just didn't give him a chance to do so. Yay, we made it! Since Abby's an adulterous murderer and all-around piece of crap, Mel rightfully puts her in her place.
You're a piece of shit, Abby.
Am I the villain? Yes!
And Lev runs away for no particular reason. So now, only I, Abigail Golflover, can save the day. Plus Yara.
Stay on the dock.
Okay, minus Yara. So I snuck through the Tommy area. This part is really easy to avoid getting hurt as long as you know the right paths to take. And as long as I dodged around certain cars in the infected area, I was able to avoid getting attacked by the infected and avoid getting shot by Tommy. Yippee! Unfortunately, Manny did not take my advice about memorizing enemy patterns and suffered greatly for it. Oh well, I guess I'll miss him. Kinda. So after that, Yara and I hopped on over to the island, where I crossbowed all of the scars to death. Safely. So with Lev now recovered, the three of us turn around and safely walk back to our boat and leave.
Shouldn't we head back to our boat? No. I hear fighting back there.
Or we could all go die in the war that's currently taking place. Also a good plan. So Yara dies because she is an idiot. The mall fight went pretty good, I just stealthed it. However, my copy of the remastered game is still just as glitchy as it was when I did my grounded playthrough, because I literally had Lev sitting right in front of the enemies, and they didn't seem to find that suspicious at all. Somehow. So I ran through the restaurant fight, and I thought for a second I was gonna get hurt, but I got out without a scrape. Nice. And we hopped onto a horse and rode off to get shot at. This is another area where you can very easily take damage, but since my HUD's not shown, and since I can shoot everyone before they shoot me, I will not be counting this section either. Finally, we reached the last fight, and since I had nothing else to lose except my health and dignity, I just demolished everyone in sight. And now we have reached the Big Scar Dude boss fight. Much like the big lady at the auto shop, he's pretty easy to beat so long as you dodge and weave around him like a professional dancer. But since my HUD isn't showing up for this whole section either, I will not be counting it regardless. So after Abby is done vomiting all over the floor like a slob, we head off to find Ellie. Wow, that was fast. Why didn't Ellie just fast travel like that? That was way easier.
Freeze, you hoodlums!
So the fight against Ellie wasn't too bad until I got Ellie into her second phase and she randomly stabs me for no reason, thus taking off a smidge of my health bar. Dang it, Ellie. So I thusly beat the crap out of her.
Epilogue.
So we're just gonna skip past the farm and Abby nonsense and get right into the Ellie stuff. No one wanted to buy my Abby crops anyway. After I rampaged my way through the final infected section of the game, Ellie showed me her ability to clip her hands through her shirt, and I snuck by the first group of rattlers. The second round was a little more embarrassing than I would personally like to admit. I tried to unleash the infected guy, but ended up killing him, thus giving myself away. Sure, I could have just restarted the round and tried to be a little bit cooler, but that's quitter talk. This is the round that I have built, and I shall endure, no matter how lame it might have been. And then I speed ran my way through the last area, using the infected to my advantage in every part of the fight. It went really well. So I rescued Abby, and then promptly beat the crap out of her. And even though Abby takes a bite out of Ellie's fingers, this causes no damage to me, only emotional damage to her. And physical, too, probably. The end. What a wonderful story. Ellie really took a beating during this challenge, as basically all of my damage losses came from her side of the game. Sorry, Ellie. Sucks to suck. And in the end, it is not possible to beat The Last of Us Part 2 without taking any damage. I bet it's possible to do it in the first game, though.
Foreshadowing.